to remind you of the guidelines. Each of the candidates will have a 2-minute opening. Then I'll open it to questions. Again, when you ask a question, there's been a request that you turn around and ask it actually to the audience so they can hear. We don't have an audio system right now. After we've had time with the questions, then we'll come back to the candidates and they will have a 3-minute closing. Okay? So, Irene, you're number 1 for your opening statement.
So, hi everyone. I am Irene Weiser, and I'm running for town board on the Caroline party line. I want to thank the League of Women Voters for hosting this forum tonight, and especially I want to thank you, the residents of Caroline, for coming. This town and its future is all of our responsibility, not just mine or Pete's or Toby's or Aaron's. And I'm truly appreciative that you see your role as an informed and active one. I think by now most of you know my position with respect to gas drilling, that when I'm elected I will vote to enact a ban on hydrofracking and heavy industrial development in Caroline. So I want to take this opportunity to tell you a bit more about myself and the experience and skills I bring to this town. I'm a former veterinarian and a 19-year resident of Brooktondale. I managed a veterinary emergency clinic that served the city of Savannah, Georgia, before conducting research and teaching at Cornell. Eventually, I left teaching to become involved in community service. For 14 years, I served as a mediator with the Community Dispute Resolution Center. I ran their youth and family programs, coordinated large-scale community events, conducted strategic planning and trainings for organizations and businesses, and I even led some land use hearings for the town of Caroline. For the past 11 years, I've been the executive director of Stop Family Violence, an award-winning national activist organization that's worked at both the state and national level to advance public policy to protect victims of violence and to end family violence. I look forward to bringing my experience in small business management, strategic planning, youth and family advocacy, mediation, and community building to my work on the town board. I love the beauty of this area and feel grateful to those who have been stewards of the land. I will serve this town with energy and commitment and will nurture its growth and protect the long-term interests of the environment and the people who live here.
Hi, I'm Pete Hoyt, and I want to thank the League of Women Voters, and I especially want to thank Jan Burton back there for bringing this about. This is, I think, the 3rd time you've done it, Jan. And it's a great thing. Thank my fellow candidates, of course, all of you. We got a minute and a half here. This is going to be a great election. You know, you guys got some real choices this time around, so we're going to have a lot of people turn out to vote. The candidates are all very distinct from each other in terms of their views, their announced views. We're all honorable people. I think this is a real good deal for the folks of Caroline. It'll probably be a good deal for at least 2 of us. I'm not sure which 2. But, my view of representative government is that a candidate, an elected official, has a responsibility to do what he or she is right when serving on the board, and certainly a responsibility to be fully honest with the constituents, with the voters, both before and during the time of elected service. And having said that, in service of that latter requirement, I don't know, I've got this piece of propaganda that I've been walking around door to door with, and there are a bunch of them on the table. I've got 3 positions that I'm very clear on. One is no zoning. Despite Don's assurances, I still think that it could be an accident waiting to happen, and I'm absolutely committed to no zoning. I moved here because there isn't zoning. I don't know whether there are any zoning issues with respect to bans or not. There may be, there may not be. That's for the courts to decide. As far as I'm concerned, no zoning. The second is responsible gas drilling, and that's got to be done by the folks at the state. I've been telling people from Rouse all summer long. Take your case to Barbara Lifton, take it to Jim Seward, take it to the DEC. You're wasting your time talking to the town board about it. I'm sorry, but that's the reality of it. And the third is to maintain the tax cap. We've got a 1.75% tax levy. I'm glad to take any of your questions.
Okay, So I got a couple points that I want to talk about here. The first one is who is there in snow? Why am I running for town board? And the last one, why you should vote for me. So the first one, who is there in snow? Well, luckily kind of most of you already know me a little bit. I'm a cheesemaker and farmer with my dad over there up on Buffalo Hill Road. And it's great. I love it. My commute to work is a walk across the street. It's great. I get to live in my old grandma's house, and I'm really grateful for that foundation of how I get to build my life right now. Why am I running for the town board? Well, I'm running for the town board because I did not believe in Pete Hoyt and Toby McDonald's stance on gas drilling. I think that the town should have say in whether gas drilling comes in. I don't believe it should come in. So I decided to run for town board. And then I realized there's some also good issues that I can bring to the table as being a young farmer wanting to start my life here. So I felt like it was a good time to run for the town board. Okay? A couple things why you should vote for me. Talk about if you do vote for me, I am interested in enacting a ban on gas drilling. Okay? We can talk about it and discuss it more, but that's how I feel. Also, I am not for tax increases. For me, the value of the land, to me, I don't see why you should keep increasing, like, you have this piece of land, right? And to increase taxes or whatever, to say you should keep getting more and more value out of this land. And that's something I just don't believe in. Okay? The last thing why you should vote for me, if you believe that a young farmer should be on the town board. So, that's all. I look forward to your questions. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Toby McDonald. I've been on the town board for 4 years now. When I first was elected to the board, the town board had just come off the noise ordinance debate, and we were about a month away from bonding the renovations to the Midnight Sun Market. One of the first things I did when I was elected, the very first month, was I tried to stop that. I negotiated a stop on the push to renovate the Midnight Sun Market. We set up a committee to look at it, to analyze what was going on with it, and the results of that are the new town hall office building, which cost the same money or less than the renovations would have cost to the old Midnight Sun Market. That was my first introduction to business on the town board. Later, as we went on, I was appointed as the liaison to the highway department. That's where 70% of your tax dollars go. We have an excellent highway department, excellent superintendent, excellent employees, reasonably good equipment, lousy building. We are trying to make the highway department work. We are currently saving money. We have a crew of 5 full-time highway guys instead of 6. We are cutting back on the money we're spending, but we are still delivering the service. I'm very proud of my interaction with Cindy, our highway superintendent. I also negotiated the Teamsters contract, and what I do is business. I've kept my head above water in the restaurant business in this town for 40 years, and I believe this town should be run as a business, like a business. If you want the best bang for your tax dollars, you'll keep me on that board. Thank you.
What we're going to do in terms of questions, so everybody gets a chance to be first and last, is we'll start with you, Pete, and we'll just go down, and then the next time we'll start with Aaron and go down, and we'll have a chance to everybody have a first shot at the question. And we already had a question here, and we have a mic, if you want to come up to the mic. And
okay, I think you can hear me anyway. I'd like to ask each of the, you can't hear me? I'd like to ask each of the...
Do a sound check.
Okay,
How's that?
I think it works. I'd like to ask each of the candidates if they consider themselves a progressive, and exactly what does a progressive mean to them?
No, I don't. I consider myself a conservative. I think our job here on the town board is to keep the roads open and do so for a reasonable price. I've said before, this is very controversial. I disagree with Don that it's one of the roles of the town board to protect the health and welfare of the citizens. We have county services to do that. We have state services to do that. The town has a very limited role, and that is to provide for the rural infrastructure, primarily the roads, as well as the justice courts and the clerk and the building inspector and a few other things like that. Primarily the roads. And as Toby says, it's a business to be run, and it should be run in a business-like manner.
Progressive. Yeah, sure, in a way. I think progressive. I was thinking about. I actually feel I'm more of an idealist. So am I progressive? I mean, I think a lot of change needs to get done. I don't really agree with the society that we live in right now. I don't agree in changing overnight unless we want chaos. But I don't think any of us wants chaos. So I do believe in some progressive change. Like we talked about, I hold a lot of values in an agrarian society. And I think before World War II, the American population was about 60% farmers. What is it now? I guess it's like 1 to 2%. Sorry, that's wrong. I think more people need to be farmers. I think we need to have more care for our land and our food. So, progressive, sure. Idealist, yes.
I don't believe I'm a progressive, and I am just about certain that I'm not an idealist.
Well, I think taking Pete's definition of a progressive as somebody who believes that government does have a role, even local government, in protecting the people and the land and ensuring the safety of the people that live here, yes, I'm a progressive by that definition. I'm probably a progressive by a lot of definitions. What's been interesting for me is the conversations that I've had as I've been going knocking door to door, is it's kind of turned the traditional meaning of progressive and conservative on its head, in that the meaning of the word conservative derives from people who want to conserve what's here now, and the meaning of progressive has meant to make changes. And what's actually quite interesting in regards to this gas drilling issue is that those of us who might be classified progressive really do want to conserve what's here now, conserve energy, find sustainable ways of maintaining our society, and not move into heavy industrialization. And the conservatives, on the other hand, consider that to be a form of progress that they embrace. So it's interesting the way it's flip-flopped.
I have a question for the four of you here. Philosophies aside, the two people that are elected to be on the town board are going to be representing the 3,000 some people that live in this community. Whether they agree with your philosophy or not, whether you're your party or not, whether children that aren't even old enough to vote. And you need to represent all of your constituents, even the ones that disagree with you. In the end, ultimately, you'll have to make a decision one way or another. I'll wind it up. But I just want to know how would you take into account both sides of different issues, listen to people, even though at the end you'll have to make a decision either way. But could you all comment on that?
Like I said, I'm an idealist. But that doesn't mean I should be making decisions. As one person says, I talk with my neighbors, even like we look at our family farm. The way it's run isn't how I would do it. It's not at all, right? But we make things work. We have family meetings. We talk about what we want to do. A big thing for me was, well, let's at least localize our product a little bit so we can sell some of our product to people here in Caroline. So it's not just I say all, whatever I say goes. It's about working with people. There's, when I was going door to door, there was a nice little quote that I got that will just end this 1 minute. And just that little plaque that said, we don't have it all together, but together we have it all. And I just feel like that's what me as an elected as a town board official will try to bring, is just bring people together. Even if I don't get my way exactly how I would want it done, at least I'll represent the people.